Mount Marsabit, an isolated peak surrounded by East Africa's Chalbi Desert. It is a mountain of mystery, a forbidding place where man rarely ventures. 30 million years ago, a creature called Stegodon roamed these hills. Today, it is a home for his descendants and refuge for the king of all. On Marsabit, there lives a great brute called Ahmed, master of the kingdom, the largest elephant of all, Ahmed of Marsabit. Come now as we search the plains and swamps and mountains for the story of Ahmed. Come to the land where the long-trunked, large-eared beast is king. Come to the land of the African elephant. Old. Welcome to the world, little one. Though all you can see is a forest of tails, trunks, and legs, the constant gentle rubbing reassures you that someone is there and someone cares. And that's important for a baby. Any baby. To a baby elephant, a mother's trunk are the hands of love. Don't worry, small friend. If you slip, Mother's trunk will come to help. Mother has the longest pregnancy of any mammal, 22 months. And as if that isn't enough, she'll take care of you for the next 5 years at least. Your problem is to find the milk. Instinctively, little one, you go to where it should be. If any other four-legged creature were your mother, you'd be right. But now you begin a search of a strange new world. Given time, you'll find it and start the business of feeding. 240 pounds at birth, you need a quart of milk at a time to satisfy you. And for a 2-foot 9-inch baby, it takes a lot of perching on hind legs to pack away 7 quarts a day. To be a baby elephant, and to suddenly look up and find there's something else besides trunks and legs, is your first frightening discovery. Older elephants face little danger of attack, but the babies of the family cannot protect themselves. In the presence of hunters, like the wild dog, an angry alert is passed to the herd, and the dogs will be chased away. The rush of impala through the herd makes mothers nervous. It's a sign that a predator may be near. On guard now, she searches for the sight, sound, and mostly the smell of the intruder. Downwind of the herd, the lion prowls unmolested. But the breeze shifts and carries her scent to the elephant guards. Rhinoceros and elephant usually don't argue. At water holes, they sometimes quarrel. But unless there's a baby in danger, snort and huffle is all they do. On the trail, the grandmother, matriarch of the family, leads the herd. It's strictly a woman's world. She, her daughters, and their babies travel together, each in her own place. Male elephants must leave the group once they get to be about 15 years old. Oh, they come back to visit occasionally, but they don't stay very long. Among elephants, it's the ladies who keep the family together. A call for help mobilizes the family. A frightened mother has signaled the herd that her child is sick. The grandmother hurries to help. Seeing the baby, her first instinct is to search for a predator. Every elephant nearby answers the cry. Such is the bond between them. Both know that the calf cannot remain long on the ground. The weight of his body will crush his lung. However weak, he must stand or he will die. Reassurance, warmth, love. She calms and soothes her baby with her ever-loving trunk. Wherever they go, he will go. In a world where only the fittest survive, the elephant uniquely takes care of the weakest. In other species, the cripple would not endure, for he slows the herd. Among elephants, he survives, for against the hunters, they protect their own. Able to see for miles, the lion looks for signs of weakness. Like the vulture, she wants helpless prey. So too does the hyena. For the wildebeest, the instant of greatest danger is the moment of giving birth. No guards, no watchful eyes protect her. Only the indifferent herd surrounds her as she labors to bring forth her young. Only the hunters care. The baby stands within 5 minutes of being born. Most of the first calves delivered in a season will be snatched up by hunters. If this baby is to live, he must learn to run. All his life it will be his only defense, and always danger will surround him. For the moment, he senses nothing of the threat, but strength comes quickly, as if in answer to the need, and then a sense of sureness, a delight perhaps in life, a certain celebration of existence. And 100 quarts of milk since birth, and all you know is that you only feel safe being close to your mother's side. For a little while you can expect undivided attention, but it only lasts till you're 2 months old, and then you're left to your own devices. Within the confines of the herd, you can run, play, and generally create mischief. Venturesome or timid, high-spirited or somber, each baby develops a definite personality. In almost every activity, though, you learn something about the life you're expected to lead. Bumping tells you who's strongest, and later the strongest will dominate. There are those who are frightened, and some who are nervous, or silly, or clumsy, and some who have fun, just for the fun of it. You've gotten braver now. You wander further now. After all, you're 3 months old. You drink 12 quarts of milk a day. See better, hear better, and in your newfound self-confidence, get lost more often. But one frightened cry still brings mother running. What a wonderful thing is a trunk. It hangs and swings and twirls, and you haven't the slightest idea what it's for. But you poke around, finding things it can do. You'll copy the manners of eating, the masterly art of plucking the roots, sifting the dirt, and transporting the stuff to your mouth. Once in a while, it gets under your foot, and that's an embarrassing time. Soon you'll be expert at handling a trunk, but right now, it's a frustrating thing. Except when you're tired. It's just fine for sucking. creatures are equipped with such a versatile instrument. A strange combination of nose and lip. It can be a marvelous shovel. The wonderful 320-pound proboscis, at least when it's fully grown. It smells and sucks and pokes around in trees, picking up tasty bites of food. And what a perfect thing for wiping mud that's been thrown in the eye. Tough on the outside. In its tip are little hairs for feeling, so delicate he can tell the shape or size of what he's touching. It serves, too, as a sort of pliable straw for siphoning water into the mouth. As always, the babies must practice a lot, except in deep water, where breathing is the game, not drinking. There's nothing like a trunk for shaking hands. Shaking trunks, that is. A gesture of friendship in the elephant world. But above all, a trunk is for smelling. The elephant's link to the world beyond his very poor eyes. He depends on smell to know who's where and doing what. Imagine now if you had to carry around a 300-pound nose. What would you do with it when you were sleeping? If the elephant as a parent is gentle, loving, and somewhat sentimental, then by comparison, the cheetah is aloof. Like a very strict nursemaid, she allows no nonsense from her cubs. She calls them constantly in her whirring chirp, and they answer. Inquisitive, adventuresome, they demand constant attention. Of all the mothers, she is the busiest. No one helps in the raising of her family. After mating, the father disappears, never to see the cubs. Sons and daughters of other years leave abruptly about 16 months after they're born. They won't return. Even brothers and sisters part company, neither seeing nor caring for the other. So for months, it's baby come here, baby do this, baby watch out, and baby come back. As the time for hunting nears, she finds a convenient burrow in which to hide her cubs. They'll have to be tired enough to sleep, so she'll have time enough to stalk and kill her daily meal. Cheetah or elephant, without touch and affection, no baby survives. But for the cheetah, kindness has a purpose. Play makes them hungry. Food will make them sleepy, and then she can hunt. She can put her babies in the hiding place, but if they won't stay, she won't be able to leave, so she tries to tire them out. She remains on guard and hopes her plan succeeds. But feeding can be a time of menace. Her sense is key to possible danger. While they drink their fill of milk, she's exposed. For all this, she isn't even sure the babies will nest in the burrow. For the kill, she depends on her ability to run at 60 miles an hour, but she cannot sustain it for more than 15 seconds. Like all cats, she can see for miles, spotting the easiest prey. Once she selects a target, she will move to hunting distance. Her sprint can cover no more than 600 yards. Bigger creatures like the zebra and wildebeest won't do. She wants young, small game. Knowing her cubs may wake, she makes her choice. Of all the cats, none is a better hunter. Vultures appear as soon as she has made her kill, and they bring others to the cheetah's meal. For all her hunting skill, she's timid. Lions, vulture, or hyena may frighten her off before she's eaten. So she seeks safety in the long grass. Time bothers her. Her restless cubs await, and the scavengers will soon arrive. In minutes, she'll consume the 10 pounds of meat she needs. Vultures are big and noisy and mean and see very well. When one of them spots the cheetah, he starts down. From 10,000 feet in the air, another vulture will see him and come on the fly. It's a signal in the sky. Each movement triggers another, and the vultures appear in startling numbers. A feast for one is a feast for all. Even the marabou stork joins in. Because of his beak, he can't tear the meat, but he's perfectly content to steal it from the vulture, who stole it from the cheetah. Meanwhile, back at the vulture's nest, there's trouble. A lady leopard keeps watch on her mate as he attacks the eggs left unguarded. She'll be second to the nest if there's enough to eat. So no creature is safe in this domain, but none is harmed if there isn't a need. Elephants grow slowly, mature slowly. Size and the appearance of tusks mark the passage of time. In the beginning, there are no tusks. In time, most elephants will show that very special mark. Two giant incisor teeth. They will grow as long as the elephant grows. But practical use grinds them down, and sometimes they're splintered by the effort. One tusk at a time is used, and quite often it will be broken. Right-handed elephants use their right tusks, and vice versa for the left-handed ones. Contrary to belief, An elephant does not automatically become an outlaw when he breaks a tusk. If he needs help, the other members of the family will come to his aid. Above all, the tusks are a mark of identity. And like people, the tusks come in all sizes and shapes. There are elephants who never grow tusks, and it doesn't seem to bother them at all. But sprouting tusks are first signs of growing up. To a young bull, they are the mark of approaching maturity. Ten-year-old males roughhouse. It started as infants, little tests of each other's strength. Mothers of the herd pay them no mind until they endanger the babies. Then the young men are chased away. It's a sign of the future, a warning that where mothers rule, young rowdies aren't welcome. They've come to a special time in life. They're teenaged now, and their constant pushing is almost done. Never before have they fought in anger. Rarely will they do so in the future, for these tests clearly name the strongest. From now on, the males all know the order in which they will eat, drink, mate, and march. So from challenge comes lasting friendship and peace. They have reached maturity. As 15-year-olds, they must leave the family. Their presence upsets young ladies of the herd. And often they will go in pairs, linked in eternal bond to a companion of 15 years. Like the fabled Ahmed of Marsabit, the placid giants wander the face of Africa in peaceful solitude. The male has no place in the elephant family, except to mate or occasionally to feed in pleasant pastures. But they don't stay long. They become so accustomed to exile that they prefer to wander alone, pursuing their life on the open plain. There are those in the kingdom who have special homes, like the flamingos who nest in the Rift Valley lakes. Heavily alkaline, the water is poisoned and avoided by most creatures. But the hot, stagnant lake breeds brine shrimp and rich algae on which the flamingo thrives. As many as 2 million flock to the region. spider web of trails and paths that weave across the African plain represent thousands of years of elephant engineering. Where they have gone, other animals have followed, wearing deep ridges in the dust. Forever seeking food, the elephants prowl the countryside, carving their mark on the face of the land. The elephant begins life a basic gray, all of them virtually the exact same shade. In blanketing their skins with protective coating, clay, sand, and mud, they take on all the tones of the earth. Vegetarians, grazing preoccupies them. Of all the food they eat, grass accounts for 80% of their diet. 4 years old now, you operate your trunk with a surgeon's grace. It combines with your toe to cut away a tasty clump, and getting it to your mouth is reflex now. Nothing so handy as brute force to get at a tasty acacia fruit. The wonder of it is that he's learned the relationship between shaking the tree and getting the fruit. Just waiting brings rewards. Wiry baboons live in the branches of some acacia trees. Like the elephant, they come in search of the acacia pods. What the baboon wants is the seed, and as they eat, they will throw away unwanted fruit. And that's just what the elephant wants. The least you could do, sir, is say thanks. It takes enormous patience to gather and scoop the fruit into worthwhile bundles, at least enough for a mouthful. And for a younger lad, it can be an anxious time. Between baboon and elephant, there exists a harmony of purpose. The acacia fruit and seeds. For every piece they pick, they shake a dozen off the tree. The elephant eats it all, but he doesn't digest the seeds. And in a trail of elephant dung, the baboon can find the seeds he's missed. Waste has no place in nature's scheme. What the baboon may leave behind, the scarab puts to use. By her other name, a dung beetle. 1 inch long, she converts the scattered elephant droppings into breeding grounds for next year's kin. Once her young emerge, they will be literally surrounded by nourishing bulk. But construction of balls more than 10 times her weight amounts to a monumental engineering feat, demanding incredible energy. Selecting her tuft, she carves it to size. So strange is her life that it prompted ancient Egyptians to revere this beetle. Task will be finding a place to hide the dung. It's push, hop up and take a look around, and then push again. occupation that the one sense the dung beetle relies on most heavily is smell. The waterhole represents the focal point of life on the African plain, and nowhere is the order of dominance so clear. The elephant rules in his own gentle way. 6 tons or more of lumbering majesty, few dare challenge him. Confident, he seeks only to fulfill the simplest needs of survival. For each of his number, some 45 gallons of water. He demands no territory, but he has come to expect a certain deference, even from the lordly rhino. At times like these, 2,000 pounds of horned anger nervously bows to the will of his neighbor. Teenagers can be forgiven a mischievous, wholly common instinct to show off, just for the fun of it. Scattering a herd of buffalo is a young bull's way of passing time. Confused by sound and smell, a newborn baby buffalo pursues an elephant, thinking she is mother. Fearful of trampling the infant, the lady gives way in panic. It's not too graceful, but it's effective. Baby buffalo will just have to learn the who's who of waterholes to solve life's little problems. In rare moments of anger or fear, he may injure other creatures, but for the most part, he exerts authority in a somewhat quiet way. They follow nature's laws with dignified resignation, aloof from the endless cycle of hunted and hunter, mongoose and snake, hawk and sparrow, gazelle and wild dog. Reputed to be savage killers, their presence kindles fear in both beast and man. But once the nature of their world is revealed, they prove to have a very special, highly organized way of life. Their packs are small, tightly knit, and governed by distinctive rules. They divide all work. While some hunt, others protect the young. Pups and the guards share equally in the food. The system of cooperation extends to almost everything they do, principally the hunt. Even the outside, for they are the most efficient trackers of all. They know that most when chased run in large circles, so they set a trap, and they do it in total. Each they accord equality, and if play becomes rough, they touch muzzle to neck to tell one another, "I intend no harm," and anger then subsides. The lion is king of beasts, or so the story goes. He roars loudly, hunts little, sleeps much, and makes his lady do all the work. Her skill leaves much to be desired. On a good day, given 10 chances, she'll miss 7 times. She hunts upwind or down, depending on surprise and a sudden rush to make her kill. Two lions working together would double the chances of capturing their prey. But more often than not, he prefers to wait. His hearing is so acute, by listening, he can tell exactly what's happening. In the lion's world, the spoils belong to the strongest. The hunters have no more right to the food than the cubs. Feeding once every 3 or 4 days, he can gorge himself on 75 pounds of meat at a time. And for the rest, he leaves the scraps. The season is upon them when game is scarce. Kills are infrequent. Before the time of plenty comes again, half the cubs will starve to death. When survival is the primary drive, a certain cruelty colors life. There is one special way the cheetah gets his diploma in life, and that is the first taste of blood. Soon they will hunt, then kill, then leave. For once they can feed themselves, they depart forever from their mother's sight. To eat 16 hours a day, you'd get pretty tired of the same thing. That's why perhaps the elephant's so selective. Part of his varied menu is palm fronds stripped from the branch by careful work with his trunk, his tusks, and the 4 well-hidden teeth that fill his mouth. He goes to surprising lengths for special treats. Smoothing a branch full of thorns to avoid a tongue full of stickers is a very dangerous occupation. In an amiable way, the elephant competes with the vegetarian population for the best that a given locale has to offer. High-browsing giraffe, tallest of the animals, can pluck leaves from a branch 15 feet in the air. The elephant tops him by 2 feet. And what he misses by sheer size, he gets by clever planning. It has been said but never proven that some fruit ferments in his stomach, producing a beer-like substance that leaves him quite tipsy. Higher than the low and lower than the high, the Gerenuk works the territory that's too high for some and too low for others. An antelope who looks like a giraffe, his only sustenance is the acacia bush. It provides him food, and all the water he ever drinks he squeezes from its budding leaves. Food-inspired marches cover as much as 10,000 miles a year. And as if the trek weren't hard enough, part of their journey takes them through lakes and swamps and marshlands. Quite often, a baby's survival depends on his natural snorkel. For centuries, the rumbling noises were thought to be gigantic cases of indigestion. But the constant murmur serves a vital function. It is a sophisticated means of communication concerning the state of the family. A way of saying, all's well here. Are you all right? Footpads 2 feet wide adapt to walking through mud. With each step, they expand, then contract when the foot is lifted. A fail-safe device against bogging down. What begins as a game of mud wallowing is encouraged by mothers for reasons of health. Dry mud provides built-in protection against fleas, ticks, and parasites. Perhaps it's an instinct that's been passed down to man. For what child can resist a puddle of mud? As there exists new pastures to graze, they will endure. And they imprint the lesson on their young, that their fate is an eternal parade in search of food. For perseverance alone, the elephant is matched by the whale-headed stork. He waits motionless for the fish below to ripple the reeds in passing. One fish may be the reward for as much as 6 hours of standing still. If the stork is patient, the heron is tricky. Knowing that fish hide in dark places, he sets up an umbrella to block out the sun, then shakes the grass so the fish hide beneath him. Poor fish. A midday tranquility overtakes the plain. Stilled by the heat, few hunters prowl. The bird is in his nest, the mouse is in his burrow, and the sensible place to rest is near a shading tree. Warmed by the sun, His blood flows through his floppy ears to be cooled by gentle fanning. It's a highly developed system of air conditioning. If not for the babies, the family wouldn't rest. Their time for sleep is night, and then 5 hours of dozing propped against the slope of a hill is all they really need. For shade and safety, the lion has chased from his tree a twitchy baboon. In helpless, chittering rage, he registers his complaint. The lion could not care less, and of all the resting creatures, the lazy cat sleeps longest. 18 or more hours a day, and that can be a long time to wait. If nature has created a menace to the elephant, it is their size. Bulk commits them to a never-ending hunt for food. They will undertake forbidding terrain, deserts, swamps, and mountains, simply seeking body fuel. The first geographers, they charted courses to meet their appetites. So careful is their engineering that they carved the exact routes through the mountains on which man built his railroads. If they fall, injury would be fatal, but well-worn zigzag paths protect them. Water is vital. They must have it at least every 2 days. So they plot their mountain trek to cross convenient streams. To the resident population of the place, a family of elephant coming to water is like a visit from the king. Gazelle and baboon rush to the place, and word spreads through the forest, the elephant's here. The kingfisher gets the best of it all. The elephant thumping about chases the fish out of hiding. It's a world of hover and dive for the kingfisher, and he misses more times than not. The elephant, at least, increases his chances. He takes 2 gallons at a shot, and it doesn't seem so hard for someone who's done it before. But babies give up when facing the problem. After all, it takes time to learn the technique of storing 2 gallons and blowing it back in your mouth. The pure pleasure of water for drinking at first, for bathing the dust, and simply for playing, brings to all a sense of high spirits. After a bath, a dusting with dirt is required. It serves well as protection from forest flies and gnats. Healthy neglect helps the babies learn. But when a mother senses the slightest danger, a trunk lends a hand, as it always has. Such is the family of elephants, 4, perhaps 5 generations of mothers, daughters, and children, forever helping, forever teaching, and they hand on from one to another the memories of the past, of sights they've seen, of places they've been, of neighbors met in passing. There are chattering friends in the group who seem very concerned about grooming, and some who are prissy old maids, forever nitpicking. If they have a legendary memory, it comes from a single source, the closeness of the family, the years they spend learning at mother's side. It would be wrong to imagine that forests pose the problem of getting lost. Regardless of other sounds or the denseness of the vegetation, the comforting purr of the family and a highly developed sense of smell link them together. Like bloodhounds, long after passing, they can still pick up the trail of their own specific herd. Centuries of elephant grazing strip bare great swaths of land. But for all that they lay to waste, they contribute much to reforest the earth, stripping out trees so that meadows take root, harvesting the meadows so new grass grows, and transporting the seeds of other trees to make the forest grow again. They are the farmers of the plain. All societies have givers and takers. In the world of the elephant, he's the giver, and the piapiac is the taker. A sharp-eyed hunter of insects, he uses the elephant as a mobile launching pad for airborne strikes. Piapiacs prefer to wait in ambush on the tusk for insects stirred up by the elephant's feet. The socket of the eye is the next best place, and the line forms, if you please, on top. In careful order, they rotate places, from head to eye to tusk. It's not so much the hunting, but the constant infernal racket that finally tries his patience. Any port in a storm, or so it would seem. But when a piapiac loses the elephant's back, he begins a trail of bumpy hardship. Piapiacs go, and egrets come, and not one will help the host by plucking so much as a flea from his back. Such is the lot in life for any good-natured giver. The level of the rivers fall. Great clots of mud appear on the banks, hallmarks of the other African season. The time of dryness approaches. A sense of threat pervades, for the one great universal need is water. And so the trek begins in search of wetter, greener lands. Legends hold the baobab tree grew upside down, its roots reaching into the air. A curious tree, it held no attraction to the elephant until a savage drought 20 years ago. Then in all the lands of elephant and baobab, on an unheard stroke, all at once they started tearing at the insides of the tree. It happened suddenly, and since then in time of dryness, the practice continues. Perhaps they've found some needed mineral in the wood. No explanation truly suffices, but great hollowed trunks remain, silent evidence to strength and need. The heat scorches the sand, and the smell of dying fish fills the air. On stream beds, surface water disappears. Below the sand, small rock-lined pools form reservoirs. And these are the last lifeline for elephant, for all the game. But only he can find it. And from year to year, he remembers exactly which site to excavate. If he does not tunnel to water from precisely the right angle, cascading sand will fill the reservoir. In final delicate thrusts, his sensitive trunk sucks away the last layer of sand, opening the pipeline to the hidden pool. Slowly, he siphons the water into his trunk. At any one time, he gets no more than a glassful. It will often take him 2 hours to sip 30 gallons of water. Years of struggling for precedence have established a rigid order for drinking. Now it's strictly enforced. This is what hierarchy is all about. Who drinks first, and second, and last. By the very act of digging, the elephants provide water for a host of creatures. His senses tell him water's there, but he hasn't learned how to reach it. He'll make do on mother's milk. The dry, desperate time approaches, when reservoirs turn to sand, and the anguished cries for water bleat across the stream. Tantalizing signs of rain appear. Flowers bloom, the plains turn green, and then if no rain comes, they disappear, leaving behind a burned, brown land. Rain might come if the wind would start, but the breeze just skirts and swirls. The rainbird calls, part hope, part plea. It's the echoed wish of all. It is said, when the moon is full, the rains will come. If not, we'll wait another month. At Rainbow's End, a cuckoo's cry initiates the rites of rain and ushers in the time of joy. The water bounty's here, enough for all. Returned from a year of wandering. He could be expected to join in the play, but a baby in the group is in trouble. Years of conditioning take hold, and instead of relaxing, he guards the calf. It is possible in this instant to understand what it is that makes the elephant survive. Kindness prevails, and even the lion gives off pleasant vibrations. The hippie world knows no boundary. Bullfrogs live underground for the greater part of the year. They've waited so long for rain, it can only be considered hard luck when it's accompanied by an elephant visitation. Hardened mud forms the perfect abrasive for scratching. And at this time of year, everything seems to itch. To weigh 4,000 pounds and stand 7 feet tall, and to be playful is all very well. But he has a limited selection of toys. On the vast African plain, death is commonplace. The week fall quickly. The cycle of life is short, except for the elephant. They have been known to live almost 70 years. And where life is long preserved, death is a mournful event. They seek to understand by smell, by touch, what has happened, what it was that killed this elephant. The vital mark, the tusks, are there. Scarred by time, perhaps they mark in special ways the age, the family, work that has been done, places that have been seen. In short, the story of one life. Silence in the herd is the signal of alarm. The murmured conversation seems uneasy, and then it stops. Perhaps they possess, like man, an overwhelming fear of death. The mystery lessens at waterholes. If there exists, in fact, a legendary place in which they die, it is here, near water, where toothless giants come to find food. In a lifetime of chewing, their 4 great molars will grow in 6 times. And when the last are worn, the end is near. If they can no longer chew, they will not survive. Nature concludes perhaps that 70 is long enough to live. Don't search for great boneyards filled with ivory tusks. They don't exist. And no one has ever before filmed the reason why. Members of the elephant family carry away the bones. One by one, they are carefully taken, and each is left in a different place. They will be hidden, scattered across the countryside in every direction. The last of the skeleton to be carried away are the tusks. The only mystery that remains unsolved is the great question, why? We have traveled the lifetime of a gentle beast in search of grace and beauty, in quest of life that may pass from the face of the earth, harassed by time and man. And so to Marsabit, the mountain of the mist, we now return. Like squires, younger bulls await the call of Ahmed, the largest of them all. And for the first time, he is seen. 11 feet tall, 6 tons, with tusks that weigh 160 pounds each, the great Ahmed. "50 years have passed, and he now prefers a hermit's solitude. He left the comfort of the herd to begin a wandering life, marked by gentleness, strength, and dominion over all. Symbol of an ancient race whose only quest is peace."
place they choose. The song knows how to get to where it's going. When they're ripe, the apples fall without any help at all. On its own, the river finds the sea, and no one has to bend the rainbow. The eagle learns to fly alone. A baby finds its legs to stand on, walk on. Spiders weave, crickets call. Summer gently turns to fall. Every morning sings across the skies. You open your eyes. The secret of all is there everywhere. The rain falls anywhere it wants to, and winds go any place they choose. We forget as up we grow all the things we're born to know. But the winding river